It's your girl Alma, and I'm here with Remenkimi. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you on here because you know I was fighting to make sure that I could get my time to speak and get to know the beautiful Remenkimi. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you again so much for I know you've been super patient and we made this happen, and I'm just very excited to be here. Yeah, I'm just very looking forward to our little meetup today for sure. So my name is Remenkimi. I am an Egyptian artist based in Canada, in Ottawa to be exact, which fun fact is the capital. I don't think a lot of people know that. Right? So that's where I'm situated, and I've been doing music for about a couple of years, 3 years. It was first like a little hobby on the side, and then slowly but surely kind of just started picking up, and it's been a great journey.
How would you describe like your overall sound and vibe as an artist?
I've been exploring. I've been doing this. As I said, it started as a hobby, so it was more of me just trying to find a sound and have a good time. And so it's a lot of blends of a lot of different things, whether languages or genres. But I think what's consistent throughout is you're gonna have a little bit of Egyptian spices here and there that are represented.
And that's definitely what I noticed about you that stood out, was just like your sound, like the tone of your voice, which I'm a sucker for tone of voice. So it was just so much uniqueness, and like you said, like a little spiciness in there as well. So that's what, you definitely are getting that in there, and it's definitely standing out. It's working for you. So I'm looking forward to you settling more into your sound and all that stuff, but you're off to a great start in my opinion.
Even though the genres are diverse, there's still that consistent sound that's building up, and people are starting to recognize it, so I appreciate those words so much.
Part of having a brand and image as well, you could just subconsciously know what you want to put out into the world, so that's also a big part of it.
And I think it's a very intuitive process too. It's when you start thinking about it too much that it's and forcefully try to put things that it kind of ruins it. So I feel that's why I'm still looking at it. This is my fun time. This is when I'm having a good time, and then slowly but surely it stays consistent, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, as long as it's fun. And I was right? Yeah, and you know it's funny because I didn't realize that TikTok would be the platform that I use to discover music, but that's how I discovered you, especially from your most recent single. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Dayeb Doub.
You did a great job. I think that's great. Yeah, Dayeb Doub.
Yes, awesome. So that's how I discovered you, and again, it just made me stop, and I was I had to keep replaying this video because it was so good. What has it been like seeing a more popularized platform grow for Middle Eastern music throughout social media, because it's definitely trending right now? It's crazy.
Absolutely. And I love that you started with TikTok, and I love that that's where you found me, because honestly, little moment of applause for TikTok. It really did give a platform for those of us who are independent, kind of doing it on our own, and just from our basement, literally, and just pushing our sound out there for whoever is meant to hear it, and people are connecting. And that's why, even though you just said an Egyptian word in this interview, right? That's crazy. To me, the fact that you connected with that song that has a completely Egyptian hook, and yet it still connected with you, and you were able to be okay, who is that? I want to know. And that's why I think that the fact that we're all being heard, and it's giving us more opportunities to not only be seen but also connect and see that we have so many similarities in all these different cultures, right? So I just think it's really cool.
No, absolutely. And because I'm Puerto Rican, so it was definitely it's been fun seeing the last few years, seeing Afrobeats and more soca, Caribbean music come into play, and then Latin music, and now Middle Eastern, Arabic music with the languages as well. It's just so exciting to see that extra color finally coming back into the music industry. I felt it was missing for so long. So I love when songs have the mix of English and then their own language or their own different kind of spices to it. It's like cooking. You know, with the you add a different spice into a traditional like food, and you're like, oh, this is something different. So I've been
fusion.
Yes, exactly. There you go. That's a great word, fusion.
Dayeb Doub, my latest release, was really just an Egyptian hook. I have some English in there. I have some French in there. Keep in mind that I'm from Canada, right? So it just came, you know, and whatever product that is, I don't know, but it is a base of Afro beats, just representing the fact that also like us in North Africa are very much using Afro beats in our music as well. And so just like this blend of whatever that is, and whoever, and you're right, like there's a lot of people connecting to Dayeb Doub because we get to see the playlist, right, of people adding our song to it. So I keep looking at the playlist of all these listeners, and I'm noticing that every single playlist has like different languages, different type of musics, and yet that song keeps finding its place in all these playlists. And it's that idea of, again, like just connection with all these different cultures and stuff. Yeah.
Speaking about your song, I know it came out in June, but it's giving a summer song for real, and it's just like I just keep coming back to it. Like even the parts that I don't understand, I wish I could speak French, I wish I could speak Arabic, but like even those parts to me are just so special as well. And I was really curious to know like what's the inspiration when creating music, because that seems to sometimes be like a struggle with other artists I've spoken to that kind of mix their languages. It's like when to mix it in and how. So how do you find your inspiration in that?
I would say that because I was exposed to a lot of different music and cultures and food and languages since like a I guess a younger age, this is almost like an afterthought. It's not really something that I plan. Like it kind of happens. But I will say that I am maintaining that I make sure that I listen to all these different songs that I'm naturally attracted to. So it's not like forceful or anything, but I just happen to listen to a lot of Latin music as well, right? So I do have songs that have the little, Latin vibes as well, because I love that, right? And so other songs as well, whether it's Arabic, whether it's like French, like proper French with just like literally like piano and that's it, like all of that just comes together in the music. So I always start by writing them or composing the melody, and whatever the melody's telling me to say, and in whichever language, it just gets written that way.
Flows so naturally. It doesn't feel like it's forced that you put that in there.
Not at all. And I do have songs that I like are like, for example, I have a song called Tafasi, and that's just Arabic, and I have songs that are like mainly just one language because that's how it came out, and it really just depends from one song to another.
Do you feel like that helps you kind of like really broaden your horizon when it comes to a fan base, or do you feel like that's been like a struggle in like finding that set fan base?
Girl, let me tell you. So actually, when I first started, my first song was French and Arabic. And when I made it, like I had like a few people who were trying to either manage me or like were just like, I guess had higher positions in the music industry, and the biggest advice was like, no, bad idea, stick to one language. You're just not gonna have a fan base because you're not gonna be able to be, I guess people won't find anything in common with you because you're all over the place, and you have to start specific niche and then you kind of do whatever you want, but you're just starting off, bad idea. But what I'm noticing now, like in retrospect, is that's absolutely wrong. If anything, I feel like I've touched, I think, more than 100 countries. Like they had to look up because I didn't even know where that was, And that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if anything, music goes way beyond the language. It's the sentiment, and if it's coming from the heart, it will reach the heart. And if you speak multiple languages, maybe the person will understand one part and will intuitively kind of continue understanding the rest of the song. You know what I mean?
It like makes you stand out. The more languages you speak, to me, you're already like top tier. So if you could put it in a song, that's even better. So I'm glad you didn't listen to them. They have their own opinions, but I'm glad you didn't listen. You continued on your path, because now look at you. It's like, I'm actually shocked you are not more like well known, because it's like, come on guys, we're sleeping on her. What? So women, we have to support each other in the music industry always. I do not believe in bringing someone else down to benefit myself. There's enough room for everybody. And so, you were speaking about your creative process, and you mentioned you had a lot of influences for like music and food. Are you fully Egyptian, or are you mixed at all?
I'm 100% Egyptian, but obviously like based here. So, but I still spent a lot of summers in Egypt and stuff. So I'm very well connected to the culture still.
Because I was gonna ask you, has the music industry in Canada influenced you at all in your sound?
I think so, you know, because so Ottawa, because it is the capital, it is like a fully bilingual city. So it is a French-English speaking city, and I think that did allow, like, give me first of all opportunities to perform, but also allowed me to just be part of this emerging scene as well, because we're not like Toronto where things are like far like more advanced when it comes to, right, like how it's set up. So I'm honestly, I'm proud of being part of that little group of people who is starting off like this momentum as well in Ottawa. And again, I think the fact that I'm very comfortable using French and English, and in fact encouraged to do so because it is representative of our city, is something that comes to play.
So do you have any like emerging artists or underground artists that you're a fan of in Canadian music that you want to put us onto?
That is such a good question. Okay, wait, let me think. Actually, I just wrote a song with an incredible artist, but he's based in Toronto, so still Canadian, so it's okay. But he's fantastic. He also does Arabic English music, and you will find him on TikTok too. So actually, that was a platform that kind of was also this important key in his story. But his name is Badaro, and yeah, I think that he has a very unique sound. I love his voice, and it's just like all of his songs are bops. So like that's the best way to put it.
Touching base on probably one of my favorite songs of yours, Dayeb Doub. First of all, what does the title mean?
What I was trying to do is get this Arabic hook representative of what lyrics back in the early 2000s, late 90s used to be in Egypt. So that term literally translates to melting into you or melting for you, and it's an expression of love when you're like so in love with someone, so you're like, oh god, I'm like melting. And the thing is, honestly, that expression not used as much nowadays, but I wanted to do that kind of like flashback for the, like, my idea was like, okay, it's gonna be an Afrobeat song, very bare, very minimalistic, representative of, you know, our current kind of music climate. However, that I want the hook to represent that like nostalgic feel of what we used to listen to, like you know what I mean? So I stuck to that hook and kind of just kept repeating it in a very like Arabic kind of melody, and still kind of played with a lot of effects that made it still seem very modern in terms of like how it was mixed.
I was just going to say that's how I would describe like the essence of it. Like it's very straight to the point, minimalistic, but it still gives like a really rich vibe to it. So that just all makes a lot of sense. And honestly, translating from one language to English is so hard, because in Spanish it's the same thing where like there's sayings and then you translate it to English and people are like, what the heck does that mean? And we're just like, you had to be there when, you know, it was said. So can you translate the chorus and I believe it's the bridge after like that whole section? Because I know that's not English.
I'll translate what the whole song is about, because I feel like it'll make more sense. But basically the messaging, so hear me out. I was trying to write a romantic song, and between you and I and everybody else watching, I found those songs to be the most difficult to write, because it's so easy to write a love song that is so stereotypical and so corny, like, you know what I mean? I did not want to do that. So the way I was thinking about it is, okay, I'm gonna write a love song. I like you, you like me, and all the beautiful like metaphors and that goes with it. However, I am so focused on my career, and I really want to make it in music and all of that, and this is where all my focus goes, even though you're like so in love, and even though we're like, you know, like it was like staying true to what my actual priority is, you know. So that's why it's like a love song that it's soft, but it always goes back to like, I'm on this mission right now and I need to focus on that.
Right. I mean, honestly, it's like the modern love song where it's like you love yourself and your dreams, but I also love you. It's just trying to find a balance. I felt that. Wow, I felt that personally in my heart. Like that's me all the time. Oh, wow, okay. I mean, the song is great and it's super relatable, so I'm glad that you translated it. Again, not that I'm mad at the different languages and words that add something, but I'm happy to know the full story of it.
I'm glad you relate. I feel like a lot of us are in this situation right now, right? So.
And I love this era of where women are really putting themselves first in their careers, and love is great to have, but you need to learn how to love yourself first and your ambitions and all that stuff. So I always get happy when I hear songs about that, because I'm like, yes girl, like, go do your thing. And then you know, he could, if he's about you, he will wait for you.
That's literally what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, and if he's not supporting you and understanding you, in fact helping you accelerate the process of whatever you're trying to achieve, then that's not the one.
And I will find somebody who will be, and he'll be more than happy to be waiting at home for me when I get back from my meeting, like, hey babe, how was work? Yes. Period.
Exactly.
I understand that you need to keep things on the low, but for the fans, really for me, you know, do you have any new music coming out soon that you can kind of like give us a little snack to know?
Yes, so I have so many different projects on the go. What I can promise is there's gonna be bops, there's gonna be things that are more emotional and quiet, but really with very strong messaging, and there's gonna be a ton of collabs. So just, yeah.
Okay, that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. I just can't wait to see you go viral. I'm like waiting for it, girl. I'm like counting the days. Now, I want to ask this question, but for my last question, I'm curious. Where do you hope to see Middle Eastern Arabic music going in the future for the music industry?
I think that there's quite like a buzz happening around that sound. I think that the average listener is more accepting of different cultures, I think, nowadays, but also because a lot of songs are going to have the similar finishing, if I could say, so you will be able to accept that different sound. I do think that Arabic is only starting. We do have our own different scales, our own different, you know, history in music, yeah, and I think that slowly but surely it's kind of like getting a buzz, and I think that it can be something, you know, whatever happened to Afrobeats, for example, or to K-pop. I mean, there's a lot of different cultures that had their moment, and I think the Arabic music is next for sure.
So my last question is our traditional question. It's how we actually discovered the name Natural Soul Rhythm. If you could describe music with one word, what would it be and why?
I would say a mirror. I know it sounds very strange, but I do feel like music sometimes shows us as a society things that we're too afraid to either see or verbalize, and it just reflects it back. Whether it's with the messaging, with the melody, sometimes you listen to just instrumentals, right, and you start crying, and there's like feelings that come out, and that's why I feel like it mirrors whatever's going on.